Good evening, everyone. I am Chris, and I am joined after a fairly long time, actually, with JX Editor. He's back. We're here to talk more Star Wars. I'm guessing the last thing that you was the last stream that we did. Was it genuinely Andor? Was it the last Star Wars series on Disney Plus?
No, it would have to be Ahsoka.
So Ahsoka, sorry, yeah,
We
because
did-
already I've blanked Ahsoka from my mind, and I'm sure I'll be doing the same with Acolyte once this is all said and done as well. But we have two episodes to discuss. It was the season premiere today, I believe. We had a little bit of a confusion as to whether the episodes were released yesterday or today. I don't know, but I believe it went up today. We got the first two episodes, which I didn't think had a title, but Wikipedia has given them a title. It's Lost/Found. And episode 2 is Revenge / Justice. So I'm wondering if that whole / thing is going to be a thing amongst all these titles. We have another, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got another 6 weeks of this. There's 8 episodes in total. So stick around, hit the subscribe button, all of that good stuff, because we're going to be talking Star Wars. Already, we've got Carl in the comments. He says, "Evening, gents. Hope you're all well." Yeah, I'm all good. I mean, I had to suffer through not just these episodes once, actually. I rewatched episode 2 because I totally didn't pay attention to what happened the first time, and that was on me. How are you doing?
I noticed that. Are you asking me or our
Well,
associate
I'm
in
asking
the
you on. Well, I can
Carl?
ask you if we've chatted for like the last half hour, but I can ask you on behalf of Carl. He's asking how you doing.
Oh, he's asking how I'm doing. Well, hi, Carl. I'm doing pretty all right. I've recently started a new job, and I can stop destroying my car.
Oh, is this a new job since the other one that we spoke about when you had to like drive up a mountain?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
that was almost the end for JX Editor that night. He wouldn't be joining me on the
I
Acolyte.
really almost died that night.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, I almost died
Yeah,
making
yeah,
it
no,
through the
I,
show.
I,
Yeah, go on, sorry.
oh, fuck off.
I
Yeah, no,
didn't
no, no.
watch this up a
I,
mountain though.
it was a blizzard. I was on a mountain. I was on a mountain, and I almost lost control of my car a couple times. Luckily, I stayed on the road.
Yeah. I mean, why
It was
anyone
pretty
builds a road up
pretty
a mountain
horrible.
is yeah.
I
Anyway,
don't know, but they wanted pizza, so I was delivering it.
I just, they wouldn't be getting pizza that night, that's for damn sure. Anyway, we're here to talk about the Acolyte. Ugh. So, I've already mentioned this. I was taking notes as I was going through, and I have exhaustive notes on episode 1, because pretty much every other sentence was some dumb shit that I really needed to write down. And then I barely have anything on episode 2. As I said, I was basically comatose for episode 2, and I kind of had it on in the background. But I did rewatch it, so I'm all caught up again. I guess we need to address sort of like an elephant in the room, and I feel like I kind of want to bring this. I want to refer to the creator of this, and by creator I don't mean George Lucas. I'm talking about esteemed Leslie Headland, who is the creator of this show. I think she directs a couple of the episodes as well. Former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein. I feel like that title should continually be carried alongside every mention of her name. Never forget. And I mean, apparently you've prepared a statement, so you have the floor, sir.
Well, no, I should start with I went into the Acolyte with like zero expectations and zero knowledge. I saw a trailer at one point. I have read nothing High Republic. I didn't even know who was directing this. Uh, I learned from you who it was in their association with Harvey Weinstein, and and I know you feel very strongly about this, and as you should. It's a strong subject, and I feel like on the one hand we should acknowledge that if Leslie Headland had attempted to expose Harvey Weinstein, because we should point out she was Harvey Weinstein's. I don't think we said that she was Harvey Weinstein's assistant. She
Yes, she's
was
personal assistant. Yeah.
personal assistant, yeah, uh, and has since come forward saying she was aware of what was going on, was afraid to come forward. Uh, I will say on the one hand, if she had attempted to expose Harvey Weinstein during her time at the Weinstein Company, her efforts would have likely been futile. Uh, the entertainment industry, particularly at the time, was dominated by powerful figures like Weinstein, who wielded immense influence and control. Many employees, both male and female, feared retribution and the potential end of their careers if they spoke out. If you call them selfish for that, of course, but Weinstein's long history of silencing his accusers through threats, uh, legal legal settlements, and non-disclosure agreements had created an environment where exposing his misconduct seemed nearly impossible. The systemic barriers and pervasive culture of silence and fear would have significantly undermined any attempt for Hedlund to bring his actions to light. On the other hand, the fact that she did not take any action to expose Harvey Weinstein's behavior is deeply troubling. By remaining silent, she, along with many others, allowed a predatory and abusive environment to persist unchecked. Every individual who was witness or was aware of Weinstein's misconduct and chose not to act contributed to the perpetuation of Weinstein's harmful behavior. And while it is understandable that fear and career considerations played a role, it's also essential to understand and recognize the moral responsibility to stand up against horrible things such as abuse and harassment and police torture dungeons, which is nothing to do with Ledley Hedlund, but did I just say Ledley?
She probably has some kind of dungeon, though, I'd expect.
Yeah, no, anyone. I don't remember which city, and I tried to find it, so I'm not going to talk about this because I don't have facts. I just have what I remember.
Mm. Well, you got a round of applause from Carl, and you shall get one from me also. Well said, sir. Well said. And yeah, here she is directing a Star Wars TV series. Justice has a funny way of working sometimes in good old Hollywood, doesn't it? A show that, from the marketing, every single thing. This show has been completely agenda driven from all of the PR from this. It's pretty much all that's been talked about from this. Once again, like, the Force is female. If you don't like this show, you're an ist, you're a phobe, you're a misogynist, everything like that. They're going for the low-hanging fruit argument again, rather than just watching something and critiquing it based on its own merits, the quality of the writing, the production, the acting, and anything like that. No, and it's like, oh, well, my character's female. Yes, she's strong female. And directed by someone who allowed this to perpetuate and to go down in Hollywood. It's a very mixed message, isn't it? So, yes, welcome to the pack. Welcome to Lucasfilm, Leslie Hedlund. We're glad to have you. There we go. But, yeah, so I will probably, if I do need to refer to good old Leslie by name, I will probably follow it up with her official title. Because, yeah, we got to keep that going. So here we go at the Acolyte, and you kind of touched on this before that statement about expectations for this show. Now, expectations on the one hand, in that, did I know about the High Republic as an era? No, I realised that it was a comic book that came out probably a good few years ago now. I don't think it particularly took off. I think Disney were trying to push it as the next big thing. We'd had the prequel era. We had a lot of spin-offs that came out in the interim between, like, throughout the Clone Wars, and that with Rebels and things like that, they quite effectively bridged the gap between that and the original trilogy. So I feel like everything was mined with that. You've got the OT, you've got the sequel trilogy, of course, and they were trying to push something new, which to my knowledge was the High Republic. I have no idea if this comic book series is still going or if they cancelled the series or whatnot, but they talked about how they put so much effort into it, constructing these new characters and this lore, and they had all these people on the writing teams. And as far as I'm aware, this show, the Star Wars Acolyte, I thought was going to take place within that world that was created from the comics and using characters that were established in the comics, and that's not the case as far as I'm aware. This is set 100 years before The Phantom Menace, and the High Republic series of comics, as far as I'm aware, is set 200 years before even this. So 300 years before Phantom Menace. So completely in a different time. I don't know what I was expecting from this. I expected that I probably wouldn't like it, just based on the strike record of what Disney have done before. I think since Disney's acquisition, the things that I've only really enjoyed are, I enjoyed Rogue One at the time. However, my opinions on that have lessened quite significantly since the first time I saw it. And Andor. I genuinely think that they're probably the only two things that stand out in my mind as things that I've liked. And just based on everything that was being said in the PR about this show, and it didn't seem like someone had a powerful idea of a message, a story that they really wanted to tell, and some characters they couldn't wait for people to see. It felt like we're doing this to tick boxes, it's very focus grouped. It's very of the higher-ups in Hollywood at the moment. It felt like that was the only reason that this was created. There was no sort of, originality or passion behind it, really. Even down to Leslie Headland, former assistant of Harvey Weinstein, when she was asked, what is your favourite Star Wars movie? And she offered a very safe and non-complex answer of, I like all of the Star Wars. To which I'm like, you haven't watched any, have you? You're not really a fan. And I stand by that. I guarantee she probably hasn't. And then she turned on the Waterworks and was like, guys, Star Wars changed my life. It's like, well, you could at least offer an opinion of which one's your favourite. But she likes all the Star Wars. Well, that's good to know, isn't it? It's good to know that we're in safe hands with this show, I'm sure. I'm going to pass over to you in just a second. We've got a comment from Derpy Entertainment who says, I lost brain cells to The Last Jedi. Okay. This is... Choose your next words carefully, Derpy. You might be in a debate with JX in a second. And now I felt like losing my eye sockets and having surgery to remove my brain from my head after watching this crap. It was dull and boring. Cole before said, if I'm being stupid... am I being stupid, or hasn't the murder mystery aspect of this show already been solved in the first 5 minutes of episode 1? Yeah, I guess you kind of have a point about that.
A murder mystery?
I guess it kind of is a little bit. It's like an investigation.
I don't think it qualifies.
I mean, the premise.
If there was a murder and the investigation was motivation for the characters, that does not a murder mystery make. It requires an actual mystery, and as you plainly just stated, Carl, there isn't one.
Yeah, I said to you that I expected there to be a big twist, and the twist was that the two main characters, you've got Usher and May, they're actually twins. I thought that was going to be the big season finale prestige kind of ending where you're like, whoa, they were twins all along, they were two separate people. I was very surprised that we get that information pretty much by the last act of episode 1.
I like that you and I had the exact opposite theory.
What was the theory?
So, when she was first arrested for the murder and stuff, I took the note. Let's see. Theory: the Acolyte is a dissociated personality, which, in layman's terms, split personality disorder.
Yeah.
And that basically, when I found out that that they thought the sister was dead, I was like, "Oh, are we supposed to think it's the sister and it's actually another personality?" No, it's just the sister. It's just the sister.
I think you were thinking too much into. You were thinking way too much into it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, like I said, they didn't owe me the sister being a dissociated personality, but I think it would have been more interesting.
Well, definitely, and I watched a video from, I think it was like either last week or sometime, which Disney posted a trailer and they gave away one of the names as Osha, and you're like, oh, well, she's playing two different characters then, and, you know, she says, like, it wasn't me that did it, and you're like, oh, okay, well, it's twins. And even if I didn't know that, even if I hadn't have watched that video and already been tipped off that they were twins, I think I would have got that from the episode anyway, because once you have the opening scene with Carrie-Anne Moss and then you get the title and then it comes into it and like Osha wakes up, already mannerisms, personality, completely different, and you're like, well, this is two separate people then. This is just going to be... Like, I would have got that. I would have instantly have got that without having known that besides. So yeah, that if it was meant to be a mystery, which I guess it was at least up until the end of episode 1, it was a shockingly shit mystery because it's so painfully obvious from the off. Derpy Entertainment says, have you seen any more rumours, or any of the rumours? Yes, I have, pertaining to episode 3, and I told you about this earlier, JX, as well. For anyone who doesn't know, there are rumours that the next episode 3 of this series, is going to be... I used to be a big Doctor Who fan. I kind of dropped off when Matt Smith came in. I think I gave him like 1 season, but some people carried on and said that Matt Smith's stuff was pretty good. I think it was in the Jodie Whittaker series, so the Doctor right before this new one. And there was an episode called The Timeless Children, which completely retconned, 60 years, was it, of Doctor Who lore, of what we knew to be his history, his lineage, and the whole backstory of the character. Because William Hartnell was the first Doctor, and he was always listed as the first Doctor. The Timeless Children came along and completely obliterated everything that we knew about the canon, and had the Doctor be it was like a little black girl who fell off a building and then was in the hands of a female scientist and was tortured repeatedly because she wanted the secret to regeneration, and regenerated hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times before eventually becoming the Time Lord. It completely gutted what we knew about the character and changed it all. The rumor I've heard is that the equivalent
they turned the Doctor into Doomsday?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Exactly. Into
Doomsday.
Yeah. The equivalent of that to Doctor Who, but the equivalent it is going to happen in Star Wars next week, allegedly. So the rumor mill is that Anakin isn't the chosen one. He is a chosen one. The chosen ones are a recurring thing, apparently. And the two sisters, Osha and May, are both chosen ones, born of a mother and the Force, which they are going to refer to as she. And her. So the Force is quite literally female now. Thank you, Kathleen Kennedy. You've made it literal. Which then
Germany
means that Anakin...
Zavatarland. Russia.
Anakin has 2 mums now. So he's going to have Shmi and her, that being the Force. Well, I'm sure Kathleen and everyone on Leslie's team gets exactly what they want with that. That's the rumour mill. Now, episode 3 might happen and that might not be a thing, but from what I've heard, that is a thing from multiple sources. So we will see if that pans out. I guess we can sort of dive into the episode.
I just had a thought.
Oh, God, sorry. Yep.
I just had a thought, and we should dive into the episode proper because I got like an hour.
Yes.
But another hour, not an hour including what we've already done. Don't worry, people. Or worry. But how would you feel if the light was female and the dark was male, which was basically what happens on Mortis?
No.
It's literally just Mortis.
No, I don't. Like, it's just, again, a way of tearing down these legacy characters. It's like, we've pretty much ruined everyone at the moment.
I'm not saying it should.
I'm like...
I'm not saying it should be female. I'm not saying the light and dark should be male and female. I'm just saying that, in a way, they've already done that with Mortis.
Derpy says, you forgot the scissors. Yes. It's going to happen.
Are they lightsaber scissors?
That just seems really dangerous. That you definitely don't want to get caught running with lightsaber scissors. That's for damn sure. Okay, right. Let's dive into the episode proper then. So I've just kind of got stream of consciousness notes, every sentence that was stupid to me or raised an eyebrow I've written down. The first of which was the Lucasfilm logos at the beginning. Normally I'd get hyped about Star Wars, and I just saw that little sting they have at the front of every Disney Plus Star Wars show, and I just kind of went, ugh, here we go. It's happening. Let's get it done. I just made a note of some of the text preamble that we get at the beginning, just to sort of keep me on the straight and narrow, that it's set 100 years before the rise of the Empire, and we open on a planet called...
I like that it said that.
Is it Ueda? They do pronounce it in the show. I've forgotten how they pronounce it. Ueda, I think it is, or something like that. We have a lone assassin in a balaclava thing, covering her mouth, but not her outrageously specific and unique hairdo, which we will come back to.
No, of course not.
She walks into a bar. Sounds like the beginning of a joke, doesn't it? And, well, it kind of is. And she sees Carrie-Anne Moss, who plays Trinity in this, pretty much. That's the only reason that she's here, is to do Matrix shit.
Yeah.
And even from the trailer, I was you see her leaving the bar, don't you? And I'm like, well, Carrie-Anne Moss isn't going to make it past one episode. Which I'm kind of surprised about, because Carrie-Anne Moss is a really fucking good actress, and it seems like you'd want to keep that kind of talent around and actually, make her a character, you know?
Okay, hang on. I do not think you Sherlock Holmes that. I think that is bullshit, what you just said.
What, you see both of them fighting in a bar, and then you just see May leave on her own out of said bar from the same scene?
Oh, wait, was it an interior shot?
Yes.
Dude. Okay, in that case, I could see you seeing that was her last scene, but watching the trailer, you didn't know that was her first scene.
The only scenes that they show of Carrie-Anne Moss are from that bar fight.
That's not true.
In the trailer? I'm pretty sure they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Does she come back?
Nope. I checked.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, it shows how much attention I paid to this trailer. Fair enough. Yeah, if there's more scenes of her, that's cool. I'd be very surprised if they did cast Carrie-Anne Moss and she was only in that 5 minutes, but I wouldn't put it past this show. We get no sense of her character, really. She is just stoic. She's Trinity. As I said, she's just Trinity.
She's Trinity. Yeah.
We have May, who then squares up to her. And she does this to everyone. I thought this was maybe a cute thing she just does for Carrie-Anne Moss, but this is a recurring theme so far. She pulls back and does this, she keeps her hand in position, and she's like, we have unfinished business. Strike me with all of your hatred, or whatever she fucking says, I don't know. And everyone in the bar starts, and I started laughing because I was like, this is ridiculous. And everyone in the bar, in the scene, starts laughing, and she still keeps this pose. Now, I was trying to think in Star Wars, we've had characters strike poses. You know, we have Obi-Wan doing the whole that thing. People have struck poses before, but I don't know. I just thought it was ridiculous. And by the time she starts doing that shit again in Episode 2 with the floating Jedi Master guy, I thought it was a bit ridiculous. And then I just have a note on saying, did you see The Matrix 2, Leslie Headland? It was a good movie that came out in 1999 and spawned some quite lackluster sequels. But I put nothing about the choreography feels like Star Wars, with bullet time and shit like that. It just... And the close quarters combat, it felt like, look, do you want to make a ninja film? Or do you want to make John Wick 4 or something? Because Leslie Headland said that the show is a mix of... She sees it as a mix of Kill Bill meets Frozen. And I guess you could say Kill Bill in that she's got a hit list, she's working her way through a bunch of people, even down to the fact that she kills the first person... Well, technically the second person on the list in Kill Bill 1, but it's the first person that we see die in the film. She kills them in front of a child, which happens in this one too. And probably the whole Eastern influence of the martial arts and everything like that coming through. I don't know where we see a snow planet. Is that where Frozen comes from? Oh, it'll be the sisters. It'll be the whole sister dynamic, won't it? Yeah, of course it will.
I haven't seen Frozen. I know there are sisters in it. And they build a snowman.
Does anyone get killed in front of a child in Frozen?
Maybe.
Can't remember.
I heard that actually. I heard that their parents are apparently Tarzan's parents. So yes.
Yeah, I saw that theory. I saw that theory. It's cute. I don't think that's necessarily true, but Carl
No
says
idea.
this is going to get onto my next point in a minute. Carl says, "I see lightsabers through the chest don't kill, but a tiny dagger did the job." Yeah, it's nice to have consistency, isn't it, between these things? And Derpy says, "May I say something
I
for everybody?
uh,
I felt a great disturbance in the fandom, as if millions of fans suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. Do you want? Oh, do you want to lose some brain cells?"
Derpy, I wish they were silenced.
Okay, speaking of someone who should be silenced, this line. How do we feel about this line? Carrie-Anne Moss takes out the green lightsaber and does this ready pose. Everyone does this ready pose. Like, even Yord's character does it in episode 2 with his yellow lightsaber. He's like, arm outstretched like that. And after pulling out the lightsaber, May hits her with the line, quote, "A Jedi doesn't pull her weapon unless she is prepared to kill." How do we feel about that? I don't think that's necessarily true, like, at
I
all.
don't. I'm. Yeah. That's like bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like an empty
It's
platitude.
literally it's as much a shield
Yeah.
as it is a weapon.
So it doesn't pull her weapon unless she's prepared to kill. What about like a sparring session? What about a training session? You know, what if you got to cut
I
through
mean
a...
that I think you can dismiss that part as context, but the fucking literally any other situation with hostility,
Yeah.
you could still use a lightsaber and it
Yeah,
would still be justified to
you could
not kill someone.
you could use it to
Also,
intimidate
it's
you.
an ideal weapon to like to dismember people so you don't have to kill them.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Look at Zem in Attack of
Like
the
that's a
Clones.
big thing in the EU actually. In the actually, you started to listen to the beginning of Fate of the Jedi. You heard uh oh Valen Horn say to his mother that when he thought she was an imposter, we Jedi we don't mind dismembering our opponents because prosthetics are so readily available.
Yeah.
He says that to his mom.
At the Emperor Palpatine Surgical Reconstruction Center.
Oh no, not them. They were closed due to low funding actually.
Oh yes, that's true. Yes, a good point. Word 789 wants to cut right to the chase, and he says, "Do we like Star Wars Acolyte?" I'll let you answer that question first.
So like I said before, going in, I had almost zero expectations, and actually the expectations I had were kind of low. I had seen reviews. I had honestly expected this to be a lot preachier than it ended up being. Um,
Oh, it'll get there.
Jesus
Next
Christ,
episode.
you look awful. Hang on, I gotta show you that.
Oh, thank
Oh, and
you.
now you're you again. As soon as the phone is covering, you depixelate. Okay. No, but my expectations weren't particularly high going into this, and I will say, generally, I was like pleasantly surprised. I would put this like in the low above average,
You'd say this is above average?
barely, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, like this is as above average as Ahsoka is below average in my opinion, which
Okay.
is
Well, what is smack bang average to you then, in terms of Star Wars?
white bread.
No, in terms of
Oh,
Star Wars, you fuck.
um, uh, uh, black calf.
That that means something to someone.
It's just black coffee.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We did talk about that before we went live.
We literally just talked about this. I'm disappointed in you.
We were talking about the complexities of hot chocolate existing in the Star Wars universe. I to
And
answer
mint.
to For me to answer your question, word 789, I hate this shit. I think it's all. I think its biggest crime is that its storytelling is incredibly dull. It doesn't have a compelling story, a compelling mystery, and the characters are just really boring. I don't think the acting is particularly good at all. There's quite a lot of notable parts to me that are just downright bad. I can't see the budget on screen. This thing had a budget of, what was it? Was it like 180 million or something? Yeah, the budget was 180
I don't know.
million.
You told me.
And with the exception of some, I mean CGI of course. Yeah, like some of the Coruscant scapes which they probably have left over from, I don't know, Battlefront 2 or some older assets or something. Yeah, some of the establishing shots look nice. I like that some of the planets, that we get a lot of new planets in this, which is decent. The actual sort of geography of the planet is very samey to other stuff that we've had before, but at least we're getting some new stuff that way. But the rest of it is just the characters, the story is just really boring. 2 episodes felt like agony to get through, and yeah, as Words points out, they're only sort of like 30-minute episodes ish. Word says I heard it's the highest budget Star Wars thing. Are you talking about TV shows? I mean, obviously it won't be the same as the movies, right? The movies are a lot more.
Yeah.
What was Andor's?
No.
I feel like Andor had a massive budget. Let me just check real quick. I don't know if it was more than Andor or sort of on par. Andor's budget was 250 million. But unlike that, you can actually see the money on screen for Andor. There's loads of moments in there that look cinematic and incredible. This, not so much. A lot of the costumes just look sort of like dollar store.
Though.
Oh yeah, location shooting was great in that. Yeah. So then, anyway, the fight happens and the choreography is happening, and it just doesn't feel like Star Wars to me. And then it ends in a kind of a bit of a standoff. And the most telegraphed distraction ever. They hear sort of like a rummaging from below stairs, and they look down, and it's the bartender. And both of them just like stop what they're doing during the fight to just stare at this bartender for like actual seconds. And then May just throws a knife, and it stabs Carrie-Anne Moss in the chest, and that's it. Trinity's dead. Carrie-Anne Moss's character's dead. And I was like, well, isn't she supposed to be mindful? Because that was the most... I was an audience member watching this thinking that was the most telegraphed attack ever. And couldn't she have just stopped the knife with her free hand? Many years later, but if we're looking at Star Wars in continuity, Kylo Ren stops an actual laser bolt, which I'm sure is moving much faster than a thrown knife. And he stops that shit in midair.
I mean, all I'll say, I literally did the same trick to punch somebody in the throat like 3 days ago. Okay, it was like a week ago, but still. I aimed low with the first hand, so while he was blocking, I could punch him in the throat. Also, as for why she put the bartender's life over her own, the secret to hunting Jedi is patience. The Jedi cannot help what they are. The Jedi code is like an itch.
Nice. Word says, remember when little Anakin thought Jedis were like unkillable? They're really not living up to that legend here. Oh yeah, no, I agree. And if they keep them to just
went on
acolytes,
to kill all the Jedi.
If they keep them to just acolytes like Force users, I mean, there's a fucking red lightsaber guy, so that always means bad guy or Sith. So if they do declare themselves as Sith, that immediately breaks canon with Phantom Menace. Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium. I do not think the Sith could have returned without us knowing.
Yeah.
So we will see.
Yeah,
see what they do with that.
That is one thing I'm kind of worried about, because they do seem to be Sith adjacent, considering the fact they have quoted the Sith code twice.
And the main villain that we've seen so far is another generic in a black suit of armor with some kind of voice modulation.
I could see this person being called Ren.
like some kind of breathing apparatus and a red lightsaber, which I'm jumping to the end of the episode, but he ignites the red lightsaber. I'm like, why do they always insist on doing that? The biggest offender of that was Darth Maul on the fucking hologram at the end of Solo.
Yes.
It's like we know it's Darth Maul. Like, you didn't have to have him take out the lights. To what end? Why did he do that? God, it's so
effect.
It's
intimidation for Kenobi.
So there are all the notes I have on the intro of the episode. I don't know if you have any more during that scene, or if we want to move on to where Osha wakes up.
I have a couple. I don't like that the placement in the timeline is in the opening. Knights of the Old Republic did that. I didn't like it then either.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we see an actual Force cult and not an almost not Sith, but it looks like we're getting almost not Sith.
Yeah, basically what we got in Ahsoka, right? With what was his name, Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati.
I mean, yeah, I'm hoping. Oh, we're not. Yeah, from what we got, basically got almost not Sith. It seemed like there was more to see, but all the character is. So.
Oh, you're breaking up quite badly.
Oh dear, I'm breaking up.
Oh. I hope it comes back.
Hang on, let me take.
Okay, I'm just going to read
phone.
While you're sorting that. I'm just going to read. We had another comment from Toby Houston's joined the chat. He says, "Evening, fellas. Watched episode 1, and now I don't care about episode 2 spoilers. So it's better than Kenobi and Book of Boba Fett, I guess. Compared to other Star Wars media, it's like a 5 out of 10. So yeah, well, according to Toby, then it's smack bang average. I guess that's kind of. Is that sort of what you'd rate it so far? 5 out of 10, or is that a bit generous? Sorry. Genuous?
5.5. It's trying to be a 6.
That's hot. Well, wow. Okay. Have our standards dropped that low, guys?
I'm literally half a point above the other guy, dude.
Carl says, in one of the trailers you see a Jedi being possessed. Ooh, excellent. Okay, I will bear that in mind.
What does that mean? How do you know that?
What if the Sith make those Jedi carry out acts that changes people's opinion of the Jedi? I mean, it doesn't really change anyone's opinion on the Jedi for a considerable amount of years, if at all, really. It's only where Palpatine, after looking like Satan himself, says, the Jedi who were the keepers of peace and justice for 1,000 generations / years, when George Lucas can make his mind up about that, have suddenly turned evil. And the Jedi are the bad guys, and we've had to just burn their temple to the ground and murder all of their, the children. And everyone goes along with it.
I can see the civilians believing that. I can see civilians believing that, but the Senate, that they were fucking. They were either. Actually, now that I think about it, the Senate would have either been like, "Fuck it, who cares about the Jedi?" It would have been like, "Hey, you killed the Jedi," and then they would have been hush-hushed. Or they would have just been like, if I say something, I'm going to be hush-hushed.
I did think it was...
Bail Organa.
I did think it was kind of interesting. Like, the one bit, you've got the bald-headed, green-skinned chick talking to Asian Jedi man. And
she's the thing.
Yeah. The bit where she says, if news of this got out, it's probably not going to look good on us Jedi, so we should keep this on the down low. Which, Leslie Headland would know a lot about keeping things hush-hush and on the down low. I thought, what? That's
that joke earlier.
I did, yeah. Allow me to reuse some of these, because, yeah, we've talked about it. But I thought, what? That's kind of an interesting perspective from sort of the internal, whatever you want to call it, of the Jedi Temple and the Jedi themselves, kind of keeping up public relations and perspectives of them, and we haven't really seen that before. They've just been kind of monks being sort of very dismissive of things and whatnot, and waging wars across the galaxy. And then this is like, oh no, we're like keeping up appearances and what the rest of the world sees us.
that's why the Jedi kept using the clones after they found out Tyrannus was Dooku.
Mm-hmm. So I thought, you know what, in the hands of a good writer, that could be a real interesting concept. I'd love to see more on that, and maybe we will, but the quality of the writing so far just really isn't there. Maybe it will change, but I don't. If this is what we've got right out of the gate, I think this is probably pretty much what we're going to get for the rest of the season. Toby says, "Will say the tone of this show is not Star Wars at all, to be honest. However, this is set 100 years before Revenge of the Sith, so it's kind of its own pocket universe."
Oh yes,
okay. By episode 8.
Yeah.
By episode 8, Oh, sorry, this is 2 comments. I might have to take those words back, but early impressions, it's bad for sure. But it's watchable because the actors are allowed to have emotional performances and the fights are pretty good. I just don't.
Yeah, the fights are pretty good.
I
Read
just
it right.
Oh, good. I just as you said, it just doesn't feel like Star Wars. Like, you don't see any of this John Wick Matrix shit in Star Wars in any live action thing. I think probably the closest that we came to seeing it was in The Last Jedi. Well, you mentioned Darth Maul does some cartwheels here and there, but even then that felt pretty in keeping. A little bit more balletic maybe, but we see people do somersaults down the stairs and high jumps and flips and stuff in the OT. I'd say probably the projection fight at the end of The Last Jedi, where Luke's doing some like crazy slow-mo limbo shit under lightsabers, which, you know, I wasn't keen on some of those moves
avoiding
there.
the hitting so he doesn't give away the illusion.
Yeah.
Do you think he succeeded, or do you think there was actually some contact, just nobody noticed because he wasn't actually there?
I don't know.
I swear that would have hit him.
Yeah, it'd be like an absolute son of a bitch if some rubble just like flew through him and you'd be like, oh, shit.
Oh, no.
I think there's one shot actually where he casts a shadow because they kind of fucked up. I think there's one shot where you see a shadow, which wouldn't be there.
Wait, does he not have a shadow? Because I figure he light would still be able like.
As far as I know, in most shots he doesn't have a shadow.
Oh, okay.
But there's one where he does.
I figured light would still be like reflecting off of the projection.
Yeah. Let's see. Carl says, sorry, I've got to move these comments over because I keep getting them cut off with this like emoji thing. Carl says its bigger crime was not a lot happened and was kind of boring. Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of where I'm at with it at the moment. Anyway, my next notes pick up right after that opening scene. We get introduced to the character of Osha. She wakes up to a handheld droid, which I was saying to you, like, I feel like a handheld droid, if it was in this universe this early on, would almost certainly be a thing by the time later on down the line. And I guess you could say, doesn't like Cal Kestis have like a little droid in tow?
Leia.
Yeah. So
yeah, and Leia.
But yeah, you mentioned earlier we have
a pocket droid without legs would be kind of useless if it could have legs.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Walkman, and we both said at the moment the droid hasn't really done anything of worth. It's sort of recorded. It's like a cassette tape.
She used a thing, like his head once.
Yeah, well, she was on a wire, wasn't she, when she went into the apothecary in episode 2, and that's probably the closest. It was like a walkie-talkie. It relayed to outside to the Jedi. That's basically all it's done so far. We then see, and then I put random Newt Gunrays walk past. We see some Nemoidians just walk past, and I thought that was it. I thought they were just going to get a cameo and done. Do you think they were only put in here because, in terms of the episode numbers, this is closest to Phantom Menace, and they just wanted to kind of draw on some of those parallels? Do you think, or?
How many episodes are we getting?
So we're getting another 6 after this. I don't know if we're squared for a season 2. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm just saying that no, because Kenobi had some parallels to each episode, to their respective episode, with 1 through 6.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see them stopping at 8.
Yeah. Oh, question for you here. Keep it brief because we've got to go through the rest of the episode. I'm
You
conscious of
really do,
time.
yeah.
Word says, also, what's the point of being remote control hologram Luke if he ends up just dying anyway? I'm assuming that's in relation to The Last Jedi.
Oh, but literally Poe explains it. He's buying us time so we. Oh wait, no, it was a pit. Yeah, because Finn wants to fight and Poe is learning his lesson, and yeah, it buys them the time they need so they can escape because they were about to like storm in with stormtroopers, but then Kylo's like, "Bring me down to him," and then he's like, "Supreme Leader, don't get distracted." Excuse me, don't get distracted, and then he gets thrown, and then like right away, sir just on standby mode for that whole fight.
Doesn't 3PO also say there's no exits at all, and then in the very next sentence says, "Oh yes, there are many exits we could take," and yeah. Anyway, random Newt Gunray's walk past.
He basically. Do you want me to actually say or no?
Sure, yeah.
No, it's just he says there are no actual exits, though it's possible that there's just like a cave. There are a bunch of uncharted caverns underneath, but it would be shooting blind in the dark.
Carl says, "Do we think Darth Plagueis will show up at some point? Maybe the finale." Christ, I fucking hope not. I really hope not. Let's get another character biting the dust.
Why
Let's
would
do it. He would be around.
No, wait. Oh, actually, you know what? Mutants are long-lived. You're right. Actually, he was 100 when he met Palpatine. I stand corrected. He could be here. He is here. He is around. Oh shit! If that shit is canon, he is alive right now with Darth Venemus.
Yeah, yeah.
Venemus was Tenebrous' secret apprentice,
wasn't it? Darth Venemus.
No, Venemus is Tenebrous' secret apprentice who would have replaced Plagueis because Plagueis was very different from Tenebrous.
Which was the one that was a Bith and got crushed by the falling debris.
So they were both Biths, but Tenebrous is the one that gets crushed.
Right, got you, okay.
And then Venemus gets poisoned, gets defeated in a lightsaber fight, then is forced to eat poison and is kept on like life support, and then is used as like a test subject for him to be able to conquer death.
Yeah.
He literally like turns him off and on before finally just letting him die.
Just going back to the Nemoidians, I put, why have they changed the Nemoidian voices? I know that the Nemoidians have different types of voice, but they have a pretty consistent, some would say very Asian influenced voice, and now they really don't. I guess why modern Disney doesn't do that, but I don't know. The voices didn't match the species is what I'm saying. It'd be like if a Wookiee showed up and went like, Chris? Well, hi. I'd be like,
You mean like in Heir to the Empire?
Do they? Does that happen?
I bring greetings to you.
Oh god, it does. It fucking does. It wasn't good in that. That's not a defense.
No, it was not.
But yeah, it was just kind of like normal people voices coming out of the Nemoidians.
Chris, I'm just gonna throw something out. You know, you and I are from the same planet, right?
Oh, yes. Also, sometimes
they don't sound normal. They sound like little green men.
I'm just saying. Okay. We've had.
I said earlier, I think they match the cadence without matching the accent.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
And then I really want to reuse.
There is like a real Asian person with a strong accent in the show. It would be kind of weird.
Yeah, I made this joke earlier. I was going to say he has a more on-screen accurate Nemoidian voice than the actual Nemoidians do in episode 1 of this show, but I don't know, I missed it because I love me some Newt Gunray. He's one of my favorite characters from the prequels, god damn it. And then we have so Osha is a mechanic, thank you. She's basically using gravity boots, kind of like the ones that Ahsoka used when she did that super cool lightsaber flippy shit in that episode. And they're fixing
jump.
Yeah, is it the shield generator or something? They're fixing. They're patching outside on the.
Why did she need boots? Oh wait, sorry. I thought I'm talking about Ahsoka. But No, they're working on something out there. Who cares? There's a fire. The pressure valve explodes, and there's a fire that looks a little too big for space. Like
Mm,
I get that
yeah.
we've seen fires in space in Star Wars before, but this one's just a little too up there and wild.
It's like fire! Exclamation mark. Fire! Exclamation mark. But I was saying to you, like, don't they have droids for this shit? Like, we actually see a whole bunch of astromechs, including R2D2, fixing the shield generator in
Yeah,
Phantom
essentially
Menace.
for in
So
87 years.
yeah, but I'm
Yeah, in
sure that
87 years they get better.
droids are around, man. Like,
No,
surely
no,
the
no. They literally talk about that. Yeah, no, no. They say like, "Hey, what? Well, can't a droid do that?" And they say they're like, "I'm more flexible than a droid. I can do things that a droid can't do."
and they were
And
like,
it's just like, yeah, because droids aren't that good yet.
okay, okay, sure, we'll go with that. And then a ship flies in, and the Moidians go Jedi. And I was like, how can they tell that Jedi are on the ship? Is that like a house
The
designed for
Moidians are really good at identifying Jedi in disguise.
but in the ship, like they see the ship fly in. I was like,
They're
is this a
really
house
good.
design? Is this like a ship that all Jedis fly around in? Do they have like a whole bunch of these spacecraft? So you can just
I
identify.
mean, that's not unheard of.
It's like a cop car,
Actually,
and you're
wait,
like, oh, police. They just fly around in this. It's like, oh, it's Jedi.
I Republic
Yeah, I didn't know if it was some
Jedi.
like High Republic shit.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, it was a Jedi Vector, I
Oh, okay,
think.
okay.
It's a Jedi ship.
And then
Okay.
the Jedi enter on board, and we get introduced to our character of Yord, and this cat broad that doesn't show up in episode 2 at all. I can't remember if she just like
Unfortunate.
fucked off. So the furries are going crazy for this cat lady person. Um, the High Republic costumes just look just really bad. Like those like white
They're good
robes that they show up in.
recreations of the things of the actual like art from the comics and stuff.
I
I've
just
seen
think the
like cover
costumes
art and
look
stuff.
bad. I don't think the designs are necessarily bad. I think they just the costumes just don't look great. It looks kind of cheap. Doesn't look like a, you know. I don't know, maybe that's just me. And then they don't wear these outfits again, as far as I'm aware. I think they're just in sort of like the traditional normal brown Jedi robes after that. And I guess the
Yeah,
white
that was
robes
weird.
would have helped like differentiate the time period before the Jedi had like a complete
Yeah, I
overhaul,
think
I
that was
guess,
the
in brown
idea.
robes. But yeah. Toby says, which is worse in your opinion, Ahsoka or this show? Ooh.
Ahsoka. Yeah. Like I said, this is as far above average as Ahsoka was below average, which I consider them both like if this is Ahsoka, this is average, this is this.
I
Like they're
would,
not that far from each other.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would say that they're almost on fucking par with me. The quality of writing so far, I would say that Ahsoka is slightly worse than this so far, but it's by like a cunt hair. It's so close. That's an expression that I've heard. Anyway,
I've heard
um,
muff hair.
muff hair. There you go for the kids in the audience. Why is there an Iron Man suit in this? So
The
so
fucking droid.
she's arrested and taken on board like a prison ship, and there's a fucking Iron Man. There is a Tony Stark Iron Man suit that awaits her. And I thought, oh, maybe these are the prison droids. Maybe there's going to be a whole bunch of them. Well, remember that for later when they spring out of jail, because that's going to come back. I have a note on the score at this
Was that
point.
the one on the ship?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I have a note on the score here
Just
because this
making
is
sure.
where we go to Coruscant. I've put there's bits of like the Phantom Menace score weaved into it. I don't know if you picked up on that. There's like little
I
pieces here and
did
there.
pick up on that. I was also very glad that they let us know it was Coruscant. Had
Yes, yeah.
no idea.
So I was looking for shots that could potentially be used in some kind of fan edit or something, and we get this beautiful,
Yeah,
amazing establishing shot of the Jedi Temple. And then it's fucking ruined when you
Coruscant.
get a text that I was like, ah, bollocks. could be salvageable, but the camera pans.
But if you need a shot that badly?
Oh, please. We get a text notes telling us it's Coruscant, but we don't get one of those for Mustafar in episode 9. I didn't even know that was meant to be Mustafar in that movie when I first watched it.
Or Rogue One. But we did know that in that one.
Oh, Rogue One, yeah.
Because it looked like Mustafar.
Toby says... Carl says, I'd say Obi-Wan was the worst show purely to the wasted potential it could have been. I will agree with that. I will 100% agree with that. And I think Book of Boba Fett is a very, very close second in that regard in terms of worst show. Then probably Mando season 3, then Ahsoka. Oh, no, maybe Ahsoka. That I don't know. Mando season 3 was pretty fucking bad. Oh, that's close.
I would put Ahsoka and Mando season 3 on the same same level of mediocrity.
Toby says, because so far the show is better. Ahsoka damages Rebels and Clone Wars and the OG trilogy by existing. Yeah, that's fair. I'd rank it on that. Toby says as well, at least this show, if it's bad on its own terms. It doesn't damage Star Wars nearly as much by being disconnected from other shows. You say this, but we already mentioned the potential that it could fuck up the continuity of Phantom Menace with the whole existence of the Sith. That's a pretty big thing. There's still potential where they could fuck up Yoda as a character, another legacy character that will bite the dust. So I don't know. Give them time. Check out next week the whole Chosen One, and
according to a lot of fans, Yoda was already kind of fucked in Attack of the Clones.
And the Force Ghost thing in Last Jedi for me as well. Yeah. The whole lightsaber. I could see that. Then we get to Asian man at the Jedi Temple is teaching a class of younglings. And it's the close your eyes scene. I think people have already talked about this when the trailer was released or a clip of it was released. It's like, close your eyes, give yourself over to the Force. And there's a little. I thought it was a Rodian at first. I couldn't tell. It looked like a little orange Greedo. I don't think it is. He's the only one that can't close his eyes because he's got a giant fucking puppet head on it. They didn't put closing eyelids on it.
And when he stands up, it looks so fucking heavy.
Yeah, so
like you can see this kid struggling to stay upright because this fucking huge ass puppet head is so heavy on his young, underdeveloped shoulders.
Yeah, because oh god, I'm crying. I was watching it live, and I told you about the whole eye thing, and it was hilarious because he couldn't close his eyes, and it was this giant fucking puppet, and you just said, wait until he stands up. It looks so heavy. So I had that in my, and then right after that on cue, and I fucking lost it. It's just like, whoa, whoa. That poor kid, he's probably going to have like fucking spinal injuries or something when he gets older. Oh god. Yeah, I want to know why. I want to know more about that character. I hope he comes back. I need that character back.
Spare the kid. No.
We all this time we thought.
Child's spine.
All this time we thought Anakin was the real monster for killing the younglings. Now I realise it's the person who put that fucking puppet head on that child.
Just putting out of their misery.
Oh god. Oh, anyway. Oh, what else? Oh, the prison ship. Oh, great. Okay. There's a face hugger on one of the prisoners for some reason from Alien. Yeah. Is that what you were gonna say?
No. You do more of the specific details, whereas I like have notes of like stuff as it goes by, so it tends to work out.
Yeah. There's a really pretty bad line delivery from Osha's character where she says,
I would argue it's just a bad line.
They talk about deactivating the droids or something and like dropping out of hyperspace and piloting the ship, and she's like, but that could kill us, and like I don't know, the delivery was just like noticeable. I had to like pause it and go like, oh, that was bad. What else do I have? Yeah, so their prison escape
He's assumed
is
crash
is
position.
is really actually kind of easy. He does some. I didn't really get this. He does some kind of like
It's not
weird
kind of
hand.
easy. It's rather easy.
Yeah, he does some kind of like hand gesture to what I'm assuming is one of the other prisoners, wasn't it? Or was it one of the guards? Like the kind of half man cyborg thing. I can't remember if he was one of the prisoners anyway. But yeah, this giant like big tongued prisoner destroys that Iron Man robot straight away. And the droids just kind of immediately deactivate. And I was like, okay, we're out. We're good. There's one prison droid. And he doesn't do anything. He doesn't... He's awful. And he's like stomping around, like pacing the cage. And just gets taken the fuck out straight away. Carl says the prison droid looked like something from Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, he looked like an original... was it Cylon? Is that what they were called?
Cylon.
Yeah, yeah.
It looked more like a Centurion than one of the original ones.
It was like Iron Man and the Rocketeer to me.
The way he was kind of lumbering.
Yeah. So I was like, if it was that easy, why hasn't the giant tongued prisoner just done that before?
Yeah. I don't. The lights were out.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. Things happen. They take escape pods. Time to abandon ship. I forget that the ship was on its way to Coruscant, right?
Yes.
For the prison ship. The facehugger guy kind of has a breakdown and runs and gets in an escape pod, right? He gets in the second escape pod and jettisons. We later see that same character in a jail cell on Coruscant, so his escape pod would have took him to the nearby planet of Coruscant. I guess that was the nearby planet in the asteroid belt.
No, because they were dropping out of hyper, like they were dropping through the escape pods while in hyperspace. They were leaving just kind of in the middle of space.
Oh, okay.
Which is a surefire way to fucking die.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would assume they just got picked. There were tracking devices in the fucking pods.
I'm sure.
Why wouldn't there be?
Yeah, exactly. Like Coruscant would still have. They'd have records of all aircraft, be it escape pod or whatever, entering the atmosphere. And track that shit. And apparently they do, because we see him in prison in the next shot. So...
Well, I don't think they took off, like, at Coruscant. They're still probably a few hours from Coruscant. I think they were just in the heart of deep space.
We've got a comment here from... new comment. Jesse Mendez says, gonna binge it when they're all out. Is it good? Is it good so far, or what everyone expected? For me, it's kind of what I expected.
Better than I expected.
Yeah, so you
a lot less preachy than I expected. We'll see what happens.
There's still time next week. Yeah, so you've got.
There's time.
I'm sorry we couldn't be of more help to you. We haven't reached a unanimous verdict. I hate this shit, and you're like, oh, it's kind of average. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's better than I was anticipating. The fight scenes are cool. Like, scroll up to see what Carl or who was it?
Yeah, compare it to one of the other shows that have come before. If your opinion marries up on one of the other shows, go with that. But, just wait till it's all out and then binge it and, I guess, decide for yourself. I'm sorry we couldn't be more help. Anyway, Osha straps herself in with a seatbelt because that's going to save you from a ship hopelessly hurtling out of space into atmosphere.
Very important to assume the crash position.
Yes.
Really hard to say crash position. Try saying it.
And crash position. Crash position.
See?
Yes. Yeah, no, you're right. That is true. That is very difficult to say. I agree. We then cut to a wide shot where the ship fucking crashes on the surface and obliterates into a million pieces. Fucking skims over rocks, barrel rolls, does a barrel roll, and she's fine. Not even a scratch. Barely an inconvenience. Yes. And there we go. She survived. Not the most ridiculous crash I've ever seen that someone survived. That would probably go to Kylo Ren in The Rise of Skywalker, where the wing of his TIE fighter is cut off, he hurtles hopelessly out of control, bounces a number of times before his craft fucking explodes in a huge fiery death wreck. And he's absolutely fine, like nothing happened. And my mind went back to Revenge of the Sith, where another happy landing scene where the ship breaks off, but Anakin extends all flaps and drag fins or whatever he calls it, so that he slows it down as much as physically possible with the fact that it's like hurtling into the atmosphere. You have the clone troopers that extinguish the flames on the ship, and you have a convenient runway that allows for a lot of it. This is a relatively small craft, though, compared to the Invisible Hand, I want to say. And yeah, even later on in the episode, the Jedi find the wreckage and go, there is no way that anyone could have survived that. And I was like, yeah, what a very astute observation, Jedi Master. You're correct. Toby says, not sure which is worse, the fact that after less than 5 minutes they kill off Carrie-Anne Moss, or the fact they're going to do another tedious bullshit take-out death only to bring her back later on. Fake-out death, sorry. Fake-out death only to bring her back later on. Yes, this non-linear storytelling bullshit, isn't it? Which works for some things, for a lot of things, actually. I just don't think that this is one. I think they've kind of like botched the structure, really, for some kind of compelling mystery.
I mean, I don't know what the
because we don't actually know what these Jedi Masters did yet, do we? We haven't. We don't.
Yeah, you're right.
Because in Kill Bill, like, we open with the bride taking a bullet to the head from Bill, and then throughout the next scene, we get an explanation of what happened and why she's on this quest for vengeance. So we have context before she kills Vernita Green, and we can sympathize with why she's
the main character.
Exactly, yeah. And then this one, we're seeing. It'd be like in Kill Bill, we just see her kill all these people.
We're seeing it from the
it's all ass backwards.
From one of the Five's perspective.
Mm-hmm. You made a point of this in that Osha would have just landed in Coruscant anyway and met up with everyone where she could have argued her case. And she pretty much meets up with the Jedi not too long after that anyway. There's a scene where we get shirtless Yord, which gave me Ben Swolo flashbacks, which I thought was really cringe and awful. You seem to enjoy it, though. So
he did not need to put that shirt back on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the next thing I have is that the Jedi didn't know that she has a twin. They send the Jedi on this this detective mission to uncover the mystery of this attacker. They find out that, well, they believe it to be Osha's character, and she's arguing to, I didn't do it. And deep down, he knows that she didn't do it. But they didn't think to pass on this information that she was a twin, and there's like, oh, it's off record. It's like, yeah, but Jedi Master Asian Man knows about it. He could have gone, it's probably not true, because I believe her to be dead, although in the very next scene, he believes that she's alive. That was strange. Like, just impart that knowledge onto the task team, impart that knowledge onto the people being detectives trying to detect this shit.
Actually, hang on, let me see, just make sure. Okay. Oh yeah, speaking of that, I'm glad that when he finally does, like, in the next scene, explain who her sister was. I'm glad that's just not needlessly dragged out.
Mm-hmm.
He's literally like, this is who it was. This is the short version of what happened. And then they find Osha, and she didn't kill her wife.
Isn't there a line in this where one of the, I don't know if it's green bald lady says, she has a sister? And he goes, she has a twin. I'm like, yeah.
No, that's it.
So
that's in the next.
She has a sister.
I think that's
then.
in the next episode.
Oh, okay. I think this then takes us on to the final scene of episode 1. Honestly, guys, I don't have like hardly any notes on episode 2, so we'll breeze through that. We cut to a scene of May.
Oh wait.
Oh, sorry.
Oh wait, we're talking. Wait, we going to the younger self? Okay, yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, I completely missed all that. Go. Yeah, no, I forgot to write notes on that. Yeah, go for it.
What? Oh, no, yeah, May has a vision of her younger self and is like, did you do it? And she's like, yes. I guess this is a forced vision. I don't think they're phone calling. And just I asked you to keep an eye out for this because I was at work. I couldn't check. They have the same hair when they were children, so therefore it kind of makes sense that they have the same hair now. Like I
Oh,
thought it would be a really bad coincidence if, like, even if they still had the same hairstyle as each other, different from what it is now when they were kids, that would be fucking it would be fucking stupid that they have the same hairstyle now then.
I completely missed a note from the opening scene which pertains to that, by the way. Um,
That she
so
doesn't wear a hood. You already said that.
yeah, well, May walks in. She's got the balaclava sort of covering her mouth, but she still has the very obvious hairdo, right? Which apparently she's been sporting since she was very very young, the exact same haircut. And
Yes.
it's only until she takes off the balaclava where Carrie-Anne Moss goes. She actually
You.
audibly gasps. She goes, "You." I'm like, we're going back to like '60s Batman here with Burt Ward with like the little
Do you
eye
think she
mask.
said you thinking it's OSHA or May?
Hmm?
Well, do you think she thought it was OSHA or May? Because all she said is it's you.
No, she goes, "You." So yeah, clearly
Yeah,
she knows
exactly.
it's May.
Does she? Well, the thing is, if one of you, OSHA left the order, like she could just as easily be going to kill former masters.
Probably mannerisms though, isn't it? I suppose.
Probably, yeah, she probably thought it was OSHA or it
Um,
was May.
and then the other note that I have is just on the final scene. So it's we kind of wash up on
Killed
this
my
like
wife.
this pebbled beach. We hear this distorted Sith kind of voice modulator, breathing apparatus mask. And I've written the whole sort of quote that he has, and I'm going to kind of dismantle this almost sentence by sentence. A Jedi live in a dream they believe everyone shares. I'm not sure that's true because not everyone can be a Jedi. The Jedi are kind of just keep themselves to themselves. They have their own beliefs, but they're
No,
quite
no, no,
happy.
no, no. The Jedi will be like, you should help me because I'm the Jedi, because I'm a Jedi, as if like the people would respect that,
But I,
which just says how out of touch they are.
but I don't think the Jedi live in a dream that everyone shares because some people don't believe in the
No,
Force.
it's a dream. No, no, it's a dream they think everyone shares.
Okay, well, okay, if you don't want to dismantle this one, what about this one? If you attack a Jedi with a weapon, you will
This is
fail.
stupid. Yeah,
That,
no, no, this is I that that's a really stupid metaphor.
yes. If you attack a Jedi with a weapon, you will
It's
fail.
obviously meant to be a metaphor. It's still stupid.
Qui-Gon is killed by a weapon. Let's see. Let's go through all this shit. Coleman Trebor.
I'm not. I don't. We don't have time to. We don't have time to do
Well,
that.
this pertains to the next one.
They know.
Steel.
Everybody.
Hang on.
Everyone knows.
Steel or a laser are no threat
Steel.
to them. Coleman Trebor. Let's a moment of silence from our boy Coleman, who enjoyed going to social gatherings. Apparently, he was a bit of a playboy. I think he was well to do on the VIP red carpets. It's great. I read his Wikipedia entry. Um, yeah. Laser. I guess you could count a lightsaber as a laser too. A lot of Jedi die at the hands of lasers. And steel. Within this same episode, Carrie-Anne Moss is killed by a steel knife. So steel or a laser are no threat to them. Someone needs to tell Carrie-Anne Moss that. Well, I guess for for Kylo Ren and for anyone that gets stabbed with a lightsaber now, what was it, Sabine? I guess lightsabers are no threat to them now. Thanks, Disney. But an acolyte kills without a weapon. An acolyte kills the dream. Save the rebellion! Save the
What
dream!
is that? So okay. I literally have the note. Worst part of the first episode was the monologue at the end.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Like what the hell? What the hell?
Yeah.
Also, I just want to go back a scene to the what is that Harrison Ford movie I keep referencing? Tommy Lee Jones, and
Oh,
Harrison Ford.
fugitive. Fugitive. Yeah. Where she's cornered on the
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. That's why I keep saying I didn't kill my wife.
It's like, I don't care.
Exactly. But the when the way that what was his name? Saul, the Asian
The
guy.
Asian guy, yeah, yeah.
The way he says "I believe you," like really comforting to her. I that might have a deeper meaning outside of the show,
Mm.
pertaining to a certain a certain statement I made at the start of this stream.
We were discussing force abilities the other day as well, as we do, and debating as we often do, all in good fun though. And we talked about Empire Strikes Back when Luke throws himself off in Cloud City. Why Vader couldn't just use the Force and lift him up. And we talked about like
I knew
limitations
you were
on
going
the
to bring
Force
that
and
up
things
when
like
she
that.
falls off and he catches her.
Yeah, we get our answer to that in this episode. So I guess Vader could have done it. He just chose not to. So we have an answer.
Well, I mean, well, the thing is, Luke wasn't like backing up off of a cliff, so it's like, it's more like Vader wasn't ready to do it, whereas he was just like, well, she's gonna fucking fall if she keeps going.
Yeah, yeah. We have a comment from Toby who
Whereas
says,
Vader wasn't like, well, it looks like he may commit suicide.
"Hey, I saved your life."
That's
No, you
badass.
didn't. You ruined my death. Toby says Obi-Wan is the greatest Jedi detective. I will agree with that. I'll fucking agree with that. I love his little subplot in Attack of the Clones.
It took a spin-off in the it took a spin-off in the Clone Wars for him to actually solve that mystery.
Including a power
Actually,
that
it
I
took
feel
two.
would be very, very useful that's never been used ever again. So they talked about this. Well, she has the same face. I was like, Obi-Wan Kenobi literally disguises himself as Kratos in an episode
Oh
and
yeah,
does something, doesn't
that
it? Yeah.
happens. He eats like a thing that makes his voice different, and they
It's a
inject him
polyjuice
with
potion.
nanites that fuck with his face. Yes, it's polyjuice. Yeah.
Which brings us to episode 2. Honestly, I don't have many notes on this. We open on Olega, which is a planet with a local Jedi temple on it, and they have the worst security in the world. A little child
Pretty
goes
bad.
up to the security door, and the little Achua
And
Plinky
then she
thing
throws
comes
a
out of
thing.
the wall, and she throws a disruptor on it. A disruptor that I don't think we've seen in any other Star Wars thing that seems like it would be really fucking useful in a lot of situations.
I would just say that if technology gets better in the next few hundred years, then means of overriding that technology might might fall into disuse.
Maybe. Okay. Okay.
That's I can offer a dose of copium if you need it, but it's still copium.
I mean, I watched this episode right before the stream, and I'm already forgetting it. So, the whole conceit of it is that May's going after number 2 on the list, I guess, in this Jedi
Hoping.
temple. This dude's just floating off the ground, and he's surrounded by like a
For
force
10
shield.
years.
Hmm?
He looks great.
He's rocking the sideburns. It's a look that I haven't really.
Yeah, he's been doing
Yeah.
this for 10 years. Just sitting there.
You think that his beard would have grown considerably more in that point.
A
In that
lot
time, though, if
longer.
he's just been hovering, like, has he been eating? Has he just been sustaining himself off the Force for all these years?
It it's possible he was sustaining himself off of the Force. That has been a thing in the EU, but never for that long. But then
Yeah.
again, you hear about like monks in real life doing these like several month long meditations where they don't eat, and I'm
Oh, and we lost JX. He will be back, and in greater numbers. Oh, he's back right now. In fact, let me reintroduce him to the stream. There we
okay.
go.
Okay, I was worried for a second there. Glad that.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
So May. Yeah, about sustaining himself from the Force. May's like, right, I can't pass through this shield, so she goes to an apothecary and gets. She meets this Asian dude, and she gets some poison. She goes back and essentially makes him kill himself. He feels very guilty about what happened to her back in the day, and he says, "May, I've been waiting for this moment to kill myself." And I'm like, well, if he's been waiting for May to show up, She showed up at the beginning of the episode, mate. Like, why didn't you just open your eyes then and get this shit over and done with? If he wants to kill himself, if he feels really bad about doing it, he has an actual lightsaber that he could just commit, seppuku with. Does
My return?
Yeah, with steel or with laser or with blaster, he could kill himself in whichever way he sees fit. So I don't get why it had to take her showing up with poison to make him open his eyes and say, "Oh, you've returned," because she had already returned.
Think what it took was her showing up at the same time as the people who were right outside.
Yeah, I guess so. So anyway, he drinks the poison. He's dead.
That can be both a writing thing and the Force was telling him thing.
We get some lines as well. We get some callback lines, which I thought were memory lines. I mean, we get I have a bad feeling about this.
We get a bad feeling about this.
Sure. But, yeah. There's also, I think he says, it could be a trap. Now, I was like, if anyone else uses the word, I guess, next move, spring the trap. Okay, I guess there are other ways where they say trap, and I don't always think of
people are allowed to talk about traps.
But anyway, awful
get
British,
hit on by them all the time.
Awful British actress lady, like pasty face Darth Maul Horn's chick, whatever she's called. She's flying in like the little helicopter thing with the searchlight on May, and she says in the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, whatever it is, you're under arrest. I'm like, you remember when Mace Windu said that in Revenge of the Sith? I do. Carl says that was one of the most
saying, Jedi. Hey, remember in that? Sorry, I was just like, remember in that cop movie when he said you have the right to remain silent?
Yeah,
that's just what cops say.
Yeah.
Or sorry. Remember in that cop movie when they said you don't have to say anything, but know that if you do choose to say anything you choose not to disclose will be maybe admissible in court.
Well, this is what I'm confused about, and this kind of stems from George Lucas's prequel trilogy as well. I don't know how much the power and say the Jedi have, because Mace Windu says, pertaining to Palpatine, he says he has control of the Senate and the courts, so there is a judicial system in Coruscant. But the Jedi seem to take matters in their own hands, and they can go and detect things and arrest people, like.
The episode where Ahsoka is kicked out of the Jedi Order, we see that like the Jedi have their own court system for internal affairs, but they can basically the Jedi Council are all qualified as judges, like from a legal standpoint. But the like it has to be people, like it has to be Jedi matters that right. They are involved in. Otherwise, and even when it is for political reasons, it might get pushed to the Republic Court instead.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Carl says that was one of the most un-Jedi things I've seen, with him taking his own life. I mean, could we argue that Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke take their own lives by becoming one with the Force? And Yoda?
Yeah, no, that was... Honestly, he basically did what I thought Han did in Force Awakens before Last Jedi came out.
Oh, you thought he helped him kill himself?
I thought he turned... No, I thought he turned on the saber so he could...
Yeah, I saw that theory.
Also, I don't think I like the term mechanic, but I don't really care enough, and I like that a job that would be rather prominent in the galaxy, even though if it's not in our own, gets its own name. It should. That's how names for things work.
I'm conscious of time, so I'm just going to rattle through to the end of the episode now. So, the Jedi corner May, and May finds that Osha is still alive, and they have kind of like a little moment where they're staring at each other. Osha's got a stun gun trained right on May, and pulls the trigger and swings left by a lot and totally fucking misses. She's like 6 feet away from her. She's got a dead bang essentially.
Now, or I've got I did anybody use a blaster in these two episodes, or is that not a thing? Because it might be blasters suck, but even still, it was pretty fucking close.
The prisoners didn't acquire any weapons, did they, when they broke out?
No,
In that
no.
case, I don't think we've seen a blaster, unless anyone had them in the tavern at the
It
beginning.
might not be a thing.
It seems strange. We've got spacecraft with lasers on them and whatnot. So
Well, that means you can make really big lasers, but can you make them compact enough to fit in someone's hand?
I guarantee we'll see some. We'll see. It feels weird that we've got all of this other amazing
Are
tech and we haven't
there
come up with
blasters in
pistols
the...
yet and blasters. Yeah, she's got this stun gun trained right on her, and she pulls the trigger and just misses completely. Now you were saying that did she miss on purpose? I don't think she did. She had that trained right on her. She pulled the trigger with
It
intent
could have
to
been on
use
purpose.
that.
It could have also just been emotions.
I guess so, but how much recoil does
Wait, what?
emotions make you have? Like Jesus Christ.
Oh, you
Um,
might just consciously choose to miss.
and I'm trying to think how it ends. So she gets away, and then do they just say like we need to consult with the Wookiee Jedi? Is that what happens? What do they say about the Wookiee Jedi?
Um,
I
I think
can't
she's just
remember.
going there.
Yeah, I can't remember the segue into that. Why they need to go there? But they say, oh,
Yeah.
there's a force retreat where there's a Wookiee Jedi person, and then we cut to that planet, and we get two sort of explorers, junk traders or something, saying there's a downed
Something like
spaceship over here.
scavengers,
It might have a
prospectors.
hyperdrive that we can sell. And then the Wookiee shows up and scares them away, and the Wookiee enters the spaceship, and the episode ends. I'm like,
Okay. I will just. I just want to throw one other thing out there.
yep.
Um, who is he? I thought he was with you. Is the is well written bad deflection?
I thought it was a bizarre end to the episode where it was just like, we need to go and see
Definitely.
this
Yeah.
Wookiee
No.
now
It's
because
a
he's
shot.
in the
Yeah.
High Republic comics, and then you get like a crummy, not even memorable intro to
I
him,
have
and
been
that's it.
JX editor. I need to go.
Okay, thank you, man. I appreciate you on tonight. I'm going to round this up anyway now. So,
Hi, Carl. Hi, Kobe. Hi, Derpy. Hi, or bye, all of the people I just said and everyone else. I had Jesse. I saw Jesse in there. Tip.
bye. Yeah, so JX has got a family gathering or something tonight. I think he's had to take off. But that pretty much brings us to the end anyway, so we're almost bang on time. My views on this, as you can tell, like I'm a lot more negative on this than JX was. I know that JX is sort of like still average on it, but he seems a little bit more lenient on some things than I am. I'm just a hurt Star Wars fan. Well, I'm just past it now. I'm an apathetic Star Wars fan, which is a real shit place to be in. But that's just kind of the place that I'm in right now. It's by no fault of my own. it's just the way it goes. It's just the way it goes. It's amazing to me that a Star Wars show, and this kind of goes with a lot of these Star Wars shows as well. Kenobi especially and Book of Boba Fett, they look really cheap. Like the sets that they're walking around on, the costumes, and just the way it's shot is very flat, and I don't know. There's kind of like a uniform look to all of the TV shows, the majority of the TV shows, and they just look a bit lackluster. They look a bit, I don't know, cheap. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, The Acolyte. That'll do it for our review of episode 1 and episode 2 of The Acolyte. We'll be back every Wednesday. I think we're probably going to shoot for this time, if this time's good for all you lot. 9:30 p.m. British time. And we'll be talking about more Acolyte for at least the next 6 weeks. So that's probably going to take us through... it's going to take us into July, isn't it? And then I'll be talking about The Rings of Power in August. So a lot of bad TV shows coming up, but... It's nice doing more of these streams. I do love doing these. Of course, every Monday I've got my Disney retrospective going on as well with Dale. We're up to the Disney Renaissance now. Beauty and the Beast is going to be our big one on Monday. We're going to be pre-recording that on Sunday, so it's going to be another pre-recorded one. But so every Monday is going to be a Disney retrospective review, and for at least the next good amount of weeks, we're going to be having Star Wars Acolyte reviews as well. If anything else crops up, of course, I'll jump on more live streams too. There's a couple of films that I still need to check out at the cinema. I actually went to the cinema the other night for the 30th anniversary rescreening of The Crow, one of my favourite films. It was great to see that on the big screen. And I've got a few more booked as well. The Mummy is getting a 25th anniversary as well. I've got that booked too. And I need to get myself to the new Planet of the Apes and the Furiosa movie. So hopefully I can check those out at some point and get reviews out for them. But thank you to everyone that's kept the conversation going tonight. This has been an amazing turnout. I appreciate all of you for tuning in and keeping the conversation going and sharing your opinions and talking about Star Wars with us. It's great. So hopefully see you all back next week. If you are new here, if you're passing through, do hit the subscribe button. It really helps. Like the video because it just gets the video out there more for people to see and brings more people in. And yeah, hope you all have a good night, and I will catch you next time. Take care, everyone.